The sun was barely peeking over the horizon when Anna, a 22-year-old young woman, was already up. Her room, a small rented space in a modest villa, was lit only by the faint light seeping through the cracks in the window. The whistle of the kettle on the stove was the only sound breaking the morning silence. Anna worked as a clerk in a bakery, a job that paid little but was enough to keep a roof over her head and allow her to send small amounts of money to her sick mother living in the countryside. Despite her struggles, Anna was known for her kindness. She shared what little she had. When Mr. Joachim, an elderly neighbor, needed help carrying his bags, Anna never hesitated. When neighborhood children asked for leftover bread at the bakery, she would set aside what she could and hand it to them with a sincere smile. Her empathy didn't stem from a life of ease but from a deep understanding of what it meant to live with little and still want to make a difference. In her rare moments of rest, Anna liked to sit on a bench in the park near her home. It was the only place where she could escape, even if just for a few minutes, from the weight of her responsibilities. As she gazed at the sky or read a borrowed book from the small community library, she dreamed of a different life. Not one of wealth, but of stability and peace, something that seemed as distant as the stars she admired at night. That morning, Anna felt something different. A sense of foreboding, a restlessness she couldn't quite explain. It was as if the universe was about to shift the course of her life, but she had no idea how or why. It was a rainy night, the kind where the sound of raindrops hitting the roof fills the silence of the city. Anna was returning from the bakery after an exhausting shift. She carried only her worn-out backpack and an umbrella barely holding up against the wind. The streets, almost deserted, had a melancholic air illuminated by flickering streetlights. As she walked past the park she often visited during the day, Anna heard a faint sob. At first, she thought it was just the sound of rain trickling through the leaves, but as she got closer, she saw a small figure curled up on a bench. It was a little girl, no older than 6 or 7, drenched and shivering from the cold. "Hey, are you okay?" Anna asked, crouching down to the child's level. The girl lifted her gaze, and what Anna saw made her chest tighten. Large, frightened eyes, a face streaked with tears and dirt, and an expression of someone who had no idea where to go. She looked too exhausted to speak. Without hesitation, Anna took off her coat and wrapped it around the girl's shoulders. "Are you alone? Where are your parents?" Anna pressed gently, trying not to sound alarmed. The girl simply shook her head and murmured something unintelligible. Anna realized she wouldn't get any answers tonight. The immediate concern was to get the child out of the rain and warm her up. "Come with me. Let's find a dry place, and then we'll figure out what to do, okay?" The child, hesitant at first, clung to Anna's hand as though it were her only anchor in a chaotic world. On the way home, Anna felt the small, cold, trembling hand in hers, and an overwhelming instinct to protect the girl grew with every step. When they finally arrived at Anna's room, she gently placed the girl on her bed, covered her with a blanket, and prepared some hot tea. The girl still wouldn't say her name or provide any clear information. The only thing Anna could coax out of her was a timid, "I lost my daddy." As Anna watched the girl fall asleep, a whirlwind of emotions surged within her. Who was this child? How had she ended up alone and lost in a park during a storm? The unease Anna had felt earlier now began to make sense. Anna didn't realize it then, but that night would mark the beginning of a journey that would forever change her life. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the sky remained overcast, mirroring the uncertainty Anna felt. The girl was still fast asleep in the makeshift bed, cocooned in the sheets that now seemed like a protective shield. Anna sat in a chair beside her, having not slept a wink. She had spent the night thinking about what to do. She didn't know the child or where she had come from, but something deep in her heart told her she couldn't turn her back on her. When the girl finally woke up, she seemed less frightened but was still very withdrawn. She gazed at Anna with a mix of curiosity and caution. Anna approached gently, offering bread with butter and a glass of milk. "Do you remember your name?" Anna asked softly, trying not to pressure her. The girl hesitated but eventually answered, almost as if she were afraid to speak. "Sophia." Anna smiled, relieved to have at least one piece of information. "Sophia is a beautiful name. I'm Anna." Sophia didn't reply but began eating slowly, as if she hadn't eaten in days. The silence in the small kitchen was broken only by the sound of cups clinking and bread being chewed. As Sophia ate, Anna reflected. She could take the girl to the police, but something inside her told her it wasn't the right time. Sophia seemed far too scared, as if she had been running away from something or someone. It wasn't an easy decision, but Anna chose to wait a little longer, to gain Sophia's trust and try to uncover more about her situation. That afternoon, Anna took her to the neighborhood market, thinking Sophia might recognize someone or someone might recognize her. Throughout the outing, Sophia held tightly to Anna's hand, as if terrified of being separated from her. There was no significant reaction from anyone at the market, but Anna noticed something important. Sophia was beginning to relax by her side, as if she were finally feeling safe for the first time in a long while. When they returned home, Sophia finally began to speak a little more. Between short and confused sentences, she mentioned being in a large place with many people before finding herself in the park, but she didn't know how she had gotten lost. Anna knew she was stepping into something far bigger than she could fully understand, but she couldn't simply abandon Sophia. She decided she would care for the girl while trying to uncover the truth. As Sophia drifted off to sleep again, now with a faint smile, Anna felt a wave of determination. Her decision to help wasn't just about kindness, it felt tied to something greater, as if their encounter had a higher purpose. Days passed, and although Sophia seemed calmer, she still didn't provide enough information for Anna to understand how she had ended up alone in the park. The girl had flashes of memory but spoke in fragmented sentences, often with fear in her voice. One morning, while tidying up Sophia's small backpack, Anna found something that reignited her hope. In a side pocket, there was a crumpled piece of paper with smudged writing, as if it had been scribbled in haste. The paper read something like, "Pa Mello," and had an incomplete phone number, almost illegible. Anna held the note for several minutes, trying to decipher what it could mean. She decided it was time to seek help. Despite her limited resources, she went to the community library, where there was a small public internet station. She asked the librarian if there was a way to search for similar names or access a phone directory. As Anna typed, she grew frustrated with the vague and numerous results. Names like Mello and their variations weren't helping much, but she jotted down a few addresses that seemed relatively close to her area. That same day, she decided to visit one of the addresses, taking Sophia along in the hope that something might trigger a memory. When they arrived at a simple, old house, Anna knocked on the door. An elderly man with a weary expression answered. Upon seeing Sophia, he furrowed his brow as if something about her seemed familiar. "I know this girl from somewhere," he murmured before inviting them inside. In the cramped living room, the man pulled out an old newspaper from a shelf cluttered with yellowed papers. He pointed to an article about a missing child. The photo showed a much younger girl, but the resemblance to Sophia was undeniable. "That's her," the man said, shaking his head. "She's the daughter of that rich man. What's his name again?" "Ah, yes, Jake Williams. This happened years ago." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together, but so many questions remained. Why was Sophia alone now? Who was Jake Williams? And most importantly, how could she contact him? On the way home, with Sophia asleep in her arms, Anna felt she was about to dive into a story far larger than she had ever anticipated. But as she looked at the girl's face, she knew she wouldn't stop until she found all the answers. In the days following the discovery of the old newspaper, Anna noticed her bond with Sophia growing stronger. The girl, who had once been so wary and withdrawn, was now beginning to smile and show small gestures of affection. Each moment they shared felt like a brick in a bridge connecting them in an unexpected way. Anna began including Sophia in her simple routine. She took the girl with her to the bakery, where Sophia charmed customers with her shy, sweet demeanor. Some of them even joked, asking if Anna had suddenly become a mother. She would always laugh it off, but deep down, there was a hint of truth in their words that stirred her heart. Sophia, in turn, began to trust Anna more. One evening, as they ate dinner together, the girl held Anna's hand and said something that left her deeply moved. "You remind me of my mommy." Anna was momentarily speechless. The comment carried a quiet sadness and, at the same time, a hope that she wasn't sure how to respond to. "Your mommy. What was she like?" Anna asked gently. Sophia furrowed her brow, as if searching the depths of her memory. "She was pretty and had hair like yours. And she used to sing to me." Anna smiled, feeling a lump form in her throat. She decided not to press Sophia further that night, but the comment stayed with her. It was clear that Sophia missed something or someone she might never have again, and Anna felt even more committed to protecting her. One afternoon, as the two of them were drawing with some pencils Anna had managed to gather, Sophia did something surprising. She drew a large house with impressive detail for a child her age. "Is this the place where you lived?" Anna asked, intrigued. Sophia nodded, explaining in short sentences that the house had a garden with yellow flowers and a huge tree. Anna felt that this was another piece of the puzzle, a memory that could bring them closer to the truth. Although Anna's life remained marked by simplicity and financial challenges, she realized that caring for Sophia brought her a kind of joy she had never experienced before. The bond between them no longer felt temporary. Sophia was becoming a part of her life in a way Anna had never imagined. As the days passed, Anna decided to take another look at the few belongings Sophia had with her when they first met. Beyond the smudged piece of paper she had already taken to the library, there was an old, dirty backpack Sophia had carried that rainy night. Anna realized she hadn't thoroughly examined it, perhaps out of fear of invading the girl's privacy even further. Sitting on the floor of her modest living room, Anna waited until Sophia had fallen asleep to carefully open the backpack. Inside, she found a worn-out teddy bear with one ear torn and a scent that carried a mix of dust and distant memories. There was also a crumpled plastic water bottle and a child-sized t-shirt that looked hastily folded. At the bottom, hidden in an inner pocket Anna hadn't noticed before, was a note. Unlike the paper with "Mellow" and the incomplete number, this one was clearer, as if it had been deliberately kept safe. The handwriting was firm but hurried. "Do not trust strangers. Go back to the address listed." Below the warning was a sequence of letters and numbers resembling an address, but the paper was partially torn, leaving the information incomplete. Anna stared at the note for a long time, trying to make sense of it. Who had written it? Why would someone give such a direct warning to a child? What puzzled her most was that Sophia had never mentioned anything about the note, not even during the rare moments when she talked about getting lost. This deepened the mystery. Someone clearly cared about Sophia, but who? The next day, Anna took Sophia to the park where she had found her, hoping the place might trigger a memory. Sophia seemed distracted, playing with fallen leaves, until she pointed to a specific bench and said, almost casually, "That's where they told me to wait." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. Someone had left her there not by accident. The idea that Sophia had been abandoned intentionally added a new layer of concern and urgency. With the note in hand, Anna decided she needed help deciphering the incomplete address. She returned to the library and asked the librarian for assistance. The librarian suggested the sequence might belong to a high-end residential complex. Anna jotted down the possibilities and resolved to do everything in her power to find the place. That night, As Sophia slept with the teddy bear clutched tightly in her arms, Anna felt the weight of the mystery pressing down on her. Why would someone leave a child with such a vague note? And why did the message feel so desperate, almost like a last plea? Anna knew she was closer to the truth but also sensed that the answers might only lead to more questions. With the note in hand and clues pointing to a possible residential complex, Anna decided to dig deeper. She understood the risks but couldn't ignore the puzzle pieces that were beginning to align. One day, she requested time off from the bakery and, with Sophia in tow, boarded a bus headed toward a more affluent part of the city. They arrived in a neighborhood with wide, tree-lined streets and houses surrounded by tall walls and imposing gates. Anna felt out of place in such an environment, but her determination kept her moving forward. After walking several blocks, she found a building whose address seemed to match the fragment from the note. It was an older condominium but still luxurious, with a uniformed doorman who scrutinized passers-by with a watchful gaze. She took a deep breath before approaching. Sophia, holding her hand, appeared hesitant but calm. "Good afternoon," Anna greeted the doorman. "I'm looking for information about someone who might have lived here." The man gave her a once-over, clearly assessing her modest appearance. Before he could reply, an elderly man exited the building carrying a shopping bag. He stopped in his tracks when he saw Sophia, furrowing his brow as though something about her stirred a distant memory. "Excuse me, but do I know this girl?" the elderly man asked, slowly approaching. Anna hesitated, but she saw an opportunity in his reaction. "Maybe you do," she replied. "We're trying to figure out what happened to her. She was found alone." The man invited Anna and Sophia into the building's lobby, where they sat on worn leather chairs. He explained that, years ago, he had worked for a wealthy family, but the situation had ended tragically. Their daughter disappeared, he said, his voice heavy with recollection. That man was devastated. Her father never fully recovered. He paused, as if reliving the memories. "I think her name was Sophia." Anna's heart raced. It was confirmation that Sophia was connected to something far bigger than she had imagined. Touched by the story, the elderly man continued. "I haven't had contact with the family in years, but I know her father is still alive. He's a private man and never got over the loss." The man provided a full name and a rough address. It was the first concrete lead Anna had received since Sophia entered her life. As they left the building, Anna thanked the elderly man, promising to handle the information carefully. On their way back to the bus stop, Sophia spoke in her soft voice. "Is that man a friend of my daddy?" Anna didn't know how to answer. She simply smiled and squeezed Sophia's hand, silently vowing to do everything in her power to uncover the truth. The next morning, Anna woke up resolute. Armed with the address provided by the elderly man, she prepared to take Sophia to the place where they might find her father. The journey was quiet but filled with anticipation. Sophia seemed calmer than Anna, almost as if she sensed something good was about to happen, while Anna felt a mix of nerves and doubt. They arrived at an imposing mansion surrounded by tall walls and a decorative iron gate. The intercom was modern, contrasting with the classical style of the building. Anna pressed the button hesitantly, feeling her palms grow sweaty. A male voice answered. "Williams' residence." "Who's speaking?" Anna swallowed hard before responding. "My name is Anna. I'm here with someone I believe is very important to Mr. Jake Williams." There was a pause on the other end, followed by static, as if someone were deliberating on what to do. Moments later, the gate opened slowly, revealing a long driveway lined with flowering trees. Anna and Sophia walked toward the main door, where a middle-aged man with graying hair and tired eyes stood waiting. He was well-dressed, but there was something broken in his expression, as though he carried the weight of an irreparable loss. When he saw Sophia, the man froze. His eyes widened, and his breath seemed to catch. For a moment, he said nothing, simply staring at the girl as if unable to believe what he was seeing. "Sophia," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion, before taking a hesitant step toward her. Sophia glanced at Anna for reassurance, and Anna gave her a gentle nod. That was all it took for the little girl to run toward the man, who enveloped her in a desperate embrace, holding her as if he were afraid she might disappear again. "It's her. It's really her," Jake said through tears, cradling Sophia's face carefully, as though he were beholding a miracle. Anna felt her eyes well up but managed to maintain her composure. Somehow, witnessing the scene confirmed that she had made the right decision, even though part of her knew it meant letting go of Sophia. After some time, Jake turned his attention to Anna. He invited her inside to hear the full story. Over cups of coffee in a luxurious sitting room, Jake revealed that Sophia had gone missing 2 years ago during a family vacation. He had never lost hope of finding her, but the despair had consumed him over the months, driving him into isolation. "She was my world," Jake said, his voice breaking. "When she disappeared, it was as if my entire life unraveled. I hired investigators, offered rewards, did everything I could, but nothing worked. I started to believe I'd failed her forever." Anna listened intently, her heart heavy with the weight of his words. She could see the raw pain in his eyes, a pain that seemed to lessen slightly each time he looked at Sophia, now safely curled up beside him on the couch, holding tightly to his hand. "You have no idea what you've done for me by bringing my daughter back," Jake said, his voice filled with gratitude. Anna simply smiled, overcome by a mix of relief and melancholy. While Sophia explored the room with curiosity, Anna knew her part in this story was coming to an end. Yet, she felt she had helped rewrite the destinies of both Sophia and Jake. In the days following the reunion, Anna stayed to support Sophia as she adjusted to her new reality. Jake, though attentive and dedicated, seemed to be relearning how to be a father after so much time spent in pain and absence. He spared no effort in making Sophia feel safe, showering her with gifts and attention. Still, Anna noticed that in moments of vulnerability, the little girl continued to seek her presence. One quiet afternoon, as Sophia played in the mansion's garden, a sleek black car suddenly pulled into the driveway. A tall woman with impeccably styled hair and cold eyes stepped out with firm, purposeful strides. Anna, seated on a nearby bench, felt a chill as she realized the woman's presence radiated tension. The woman headed straight for the house, where Jake appeared at the door, his expression a mixture of surprise and discomfort. Watching from a distance, Anna couldn't hear their conversation, but the intense gestures and raised voices made it clear that the discussion was far from friendly. After a few minutes, Jake called Anna over to join them. "Anna, this is Ellen, Sophia's biological mother," he announced, his tone strained. The world seemed to freeze for a moment. Anna stood stunned, unsure how to respond. Ellen looked her up and down, as if sizing her up, then turned back to Jake. "I want my daughter back," Ellen declared in an authoritative tone. "You have no right to keep her here after everything that's happened." Jake replied with a coolness that cut through the air. "I didn't hear a word from you during these 2 years, Ellen. I was searching for Sophia while you simply disappeared." The argument escalated, uncovering a history of deep wounds. Ellen had left Jake shortly after Sophia's disappearance, accusing him of negligence. Now, her sudden return and demand to take Sophia away seemed more like a threat than an act of genuine love. Unnoticed by the adults, Sophia wandered closer, drawn by the raised voices. When she saw Ellen, she hesitated but seemed to recognize something familiar in the woman. "Mommy?" Sophia said in a faint voice. Everyone fell silent. Ellen immediately dropped to her knees, extending her arms toward the little girl. "Yes, my love. It's me. Mommy is here now." Anna watched everything unfold with a heavy heart. She felt her presence was becoming less and less necessary, yet she couldn't shake her concern for Sophia's well-being amidst the conflict. It was clear Ellen had come with questionable intentions, but was it fair to deny a mother the chance to reconnect with her child? Jake seemed lost in his own emotions, torn between protecting Sophia and allowing her to have contact with her mother. Anna knew her role wasn't to make decisions for them, but she felt a deep responsibility to help Sophia navigate this moment of uncertainty. By the end of the day, with tension still hanging in the air, Anna had a brief conversation with Jake. "You need to think about what's best for Sophia, not what either of you wants. She needs love, not conflict." Jake nodded, but the shadow of doubt lingered in his expression. Anna knew the battle between Ellen and Jake was only beginning and that Sophia would be the one to suffer most if they couldn't find a way to reconcile. In the days following Ellen's sudden arrival, the mansion became a stage for constant tension. Jake and Ellen avoided arguing in front of Sophia, but Anna could see the unease in the little girl, who seemed confused by the new dynamic. Sophia alternated between moments of joy with Ellen and periods of introspection, often seeking refuge in Anna, who remained her trusted figure. One morning, while Sophia played in the garden, Anna decided to take action. She called Ellen and Jake to meet her in the house's library. The room, filled with tall bookshelves and antique furniture, became a space for confrontation moderated by Anna's steady presence. "Forgive me if I'm overstepping, but I think it's time we focus on what Sophia really needs," Anna began, her voice firm but respectful. Jake crossed his arms defensively, while Ellen straightened her posture as if bracing for an attack. "She needs stability and love, not arguments," Anna continued, looking between them. "You both clearly care about her, but if you keep going down this path, she'll be the one who suffers." Ellen was the first to respond, her voice thick with emotion. "I know I made mistakes. I know leaving was thoughtless. But I was broken, I didn't know how to handle the pain. Now I'm here to make it right, to be the mother she deserves." Jake shook his head, his tone cold. "You say that now, but what happens when things get hard again? Will you abandon Sophia like you abandoned me?" Anna interrupted before the argument could escalate again. "We all make mistakes, and we all have the chance to change. The issue here isn't about your past, it's about Sophia's future." She paused, giving them a moment to reflect, then continued. "And perhaps the best future for Sophia is having both of you in her life, in a healthy way. You need to stop fighting against each other and start fighting for her well-being." The silence that followed was heavy, yet filled with meaning. Ellen lowered her head, as if processing Anna's words, while Jake stared out the window, lost in thought. In the days that followed, Anna noticed small but significant changes. Ellen began spending more time with Sophia without trying to pull her away from Jake, and Jake, in turn, made an effort to include Ellen in daily activities with their daughter. Slowly, the two began to speak with more civility, though the scars of the past hadn't completely healed. Anna, though she didn't see herself as part of their family, felt relieved to have helped create a space where Sophia could feel loved by both parents. Despite knowing her presence was becoming less necessary, she felt a deep gratitude for having been part of this journey. As the days passed and the conflict softened, Anna realized the time to say goodbye was drawing near. Jake, now more open and grateful, invited her to a special dinner in her honor. He wanted Anna to know how much her courage and kindness had impacted his and Sophia's lives. The table was carefully set, adorned with a linen tablecloth and fine porcelain dishes. Sophia sat close to Anna, refusing to let go of her, while Jake occupied the head of the table. Ellen, though present, seemed uncharacteristically subdued, as if gradually coming to terms with Anna's role in their journey. "Anna, I want to take this evening to say something I may not have expressed clearly enough," Jake began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "When I lost Sophia, I thought I had lost everything. She was my only reason for living, and her absence created a void nothing could fill." He paused, meeting Anna's eyes directly. "You didn't just bring Sophia back, you brought hope back into my life. I don't know how to thank you enough for that." Anna, who never felt comfortable under the weight of emotional praise, tried to shift the attention away from herself. I just did what anyone would have done. Sophia needed help, and I. No. Jake interrupted firmly. Many people might have walked past her in that park and turned away. You didn't just help her, you took her in and loved her as if she were your own daughter. That is far from ordinary. Anna's eyes glistened with unshed tears, but she managed a modest smile, her heart swelling with both pride and a bittersweet ache. Ellen, who had remained quiet until then, spoke softly. He's right. Sophia told me how you cared for her. As hard as it is to admit, I don't think she would have made it here without you. The atmosphere grew heavy with emotion. Sophia, blissfully unaware of the complexities of the adult world, simply held Anna's hand as if she wanted to make the moment last forever. After dinner, Jake invited Anna for a private conversation in the library. He gestured for her to take a seat in a chair near the lit fireplace, while he stood by the bookshelf. I've been thinking a lot about what you did for Sophia, and what I can do to repay you. I want to help you, Anna. I know you have dreams, ambitions, and I don't want your circumstances to hold you back from achieving them. Jake revealed that he had opened an account in Anna's name, filled with enough resources to allow her to study, travel, or build the future she wanted. This isn't a payment, Anna. It's a gift. A way to ensure that your kindness and courage are rewarded, not just with words, but with real opportunities. Anna was speechless. Jake's gesture was immense, but she hesitated to accept something so grand. She felt torn between gratitude and pride, unsure if it was right to take it for herself. Think about it, Jake concluded. What you've done here is something few people would have the courage or heart to do. If anyone deserves a chance to change their life, it's you. As Anna returned to her room, she felt the weight of the changes that were about to unfold. What had seemed like the end of a chapter now appeared to be the beginning of a new journey. The next morning, Anna woke early, as was her habit. She wasn't yet accustomed to the mansion's comfort and preferred walking in the garden before the household came alive. Sophia was already awake, running among the flowers and laughing with Jake, who seemed determined to make up for lost time with his daughter. Anna watched from a distance, trying to emotionally prepare herself for the inevitable moment when she would have to say goodbye. She knew Sophia's happiness depended on her reconnecting with her family, but the thought of their separation left Anna with a growing emptiness. Later, as she sipped coffee in the sitting room, she was surprised when Jake and Ellen entered together, a rare occurrence until then. Both appeared serious, as if they had something important to say. Anna, we wanted to talk to you, Jake said, sitting beside her. Ellen and I have decided something together, and we believe you deserve to know. Ellen added, her tone softer than usual. Sophia is a happy girl because she had you in her life. We've come to understand that raising her wouldn't be complete without the bond you two have created. Jake smiled and continued. We want you to stay close to her, Anna. Not as an employee or someone we owe, but as part of the family. Anna was speechless, unable to hide her shock. The invitation felt surreal. For a moment, she questioned whether she deserved such a place in their lives. I don't know what to say, she stammered, still processing their words. Jake leaned forward slightly, his gaze steady and sincere. You don't have to answer now. Just know that your place here is secure. Sophia sees you as someone essential in her life, and so do we. Ellen nodded in agreement. I know we didn't start off on the best terms, but I can see how important you are to my daughter. If Sophia trusts you, then I do too. Anna's eyes filled with tears, but she took a deep breath to maintain her composure. It was more than she could have ever dreamed of. This wasn't just an act of gratitude, it was recognition of her impact and a sign that her kindness and sacrifices had built something greater than she had ever imagined. Later, Sophia ran up to Anna with her teddy bear in hand and, without any apparent reason, hugged her tightly. I love you, Anna, the little girl said in her pure, childlike voice, unaware of the weight her words carried. Anna smiled through her tears, embracing Sophia with equal warmth. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of belonging, as if she had not only found a purpose but also a home. However, the newfound peace at the mansion was abruptly interrupted. One sunny afternoon, as Anna and Sophia played in the garden, a black car pulled up at the entrance once again. This time, a sharply dressed man with a rigid posture and a stern expression stepped out. He carried a large briefcase and had an air of authority that immediately unsettled Anna. Jake appeared quickly, likely alerted by the staff, and approached the man. Sophia, sensing the tension, clung to Anna's hand. "Who is he?" the girl asked softly. Anna shook her head, unable to provide an answer. The man introduced himself as an attorney, sent by Ellen. He carried documents seeking full custody of Sophia. Anna felt her heart tighten as she watched the conversation from a distance. Jake appeared to be struggling to keep his composure, his expression a mix of anger and disbelief. "Ellen's trying to take full custody. After everything?" Jake's voice rose slightly, the strain evident even from afar. Anna could feel the tension ripple through the air, and she instinctively held Sophia closer, sensing the storm that was about to unfold. Later, after the lawyer had left, Jake gathered Anna and Ellen in the library. His voice was controlled, but tension rippled through every word. "Ellen, what is the meaning of this? I thought we were starting to build something for Sophia's sake." Ellen, who had been more conciliatory until now, responded firmly. "Don't misunderstand me, Jake. I want what's best for our daughter, but I don't believe she's safe here. Not after everything that's happened." Jake slammed his hand on the table, his patience clearly at its limit. "Ellen, Sophia is happy here. She's surrounded by people who love her, and you know that. So why are you doing this?" Ellen avoided his gaze, sidestepping the question. Anna, who had been silent until now, decided to step in. "Ellen, I understand that you want to protect Sophia, but this path, this fight, isn't what she needs. Please, think about the impact this will have on her life." The tension in the room was nearly unbearable. Ellen turned to Anna, her expression a mixture of irritation and uncertainty. "You think you know what's best for her because you spent a few months caring for her. I'm her mother. And I've never tried to take that from you," Anna replied calmly. "I only want Sophia to have the right to be happy, to be surrounded by love, without having to choose between her parents." The heavy silence that followed felt endless. Ellen seemed to be battling her own emotions. Finally, she stood and left the room without another word. Later that night, Anna found Sophia in bed, clutching her teddy bear tightly against her chest. The little girl was unusually quiet, as though she could feel the weight of the conflict surrounding her. "Anna, are they going to take me away?" Sophia asked, her eyes filled with fear. Anna sat beside her, taking her small hand in hers. "No one is going to take you away from the people who love you, Sophia. I promise." Despite her reassuring words, Anna knew the future was uncertain. Ellen's actions had the potential to change everything, and the impact of this battle would be felt by everyone, especially Sophia. The days following the confrontation between Jake and Ellen were marked by a tense silence in the mansion. Sophia, sensitive to the atmosphere, became more withdrawn, which deeply worried Anna. She knew she couldn't stand by passively while the little girl, who had begun to blossom, retreated into herself because of the conflict. One morning, while Sophia played in the garden, Anna gathered her courage and asked Ellen for a conversation. Sophia's biological mother hesitated but agreed, curiosity seemingly outweighing her resistance. The two sat on a sunny veranda, away from Jake's ears or the attentive staff. "Ellen, I know you're fighting for Sophia because you love her," Anna began, carefully choosing her words. "But have you stopped to think about how this fight is affecting her life? Ellen crossed her arms, as though trying to shield herself from criticism. I just want what's best for my daughter. And I don't think she'll have that while she's here. Anna leaned forward slightly, her voice filled with sincerity. Sophia doesn't need you or Jake to be perfect. She just needs you to be together for her sake, even if you don't always agree. She needs to know she's loved by both of you without being caught in the middle of a battle. Ellen averted her gaze, and Anna noticed a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. I failed her, Ellen admitted. I failed by running away, by staying distant. But that doesn't change the fact that she's my daughter. And no one is questioning that, Anna replied firmly. But this isn't about proving who's more deserving. It's about Sophia. What's best for her? The silence that followed was long but not empty. Ellen seemed to be processing something she had avoided confronting. Finally, she murmured. You really care about her, don't you? Like she was my own daughter, Anna admitted without hesitation. Later that day, Anna sought out Jake for a similar conversation. He met her in his study, surrounded by shelves of books and stacks of documents. Jake, I need to be honest with you. This fight with Ellen isn't going to help anyone, especially not Sophia. Jake frowned but listened attentively. What do you suggest, Anna? That I just trust her after everything she's done. Anna met his gaze, her tone calm but unwavering. I'm suggesting that you stop thinking about whether you trust Ellen and start focusing on what Sophia needs. Right now, she needs to see her parents working together, not tearing each other apart. Jake exhaled deeply, leaning back in his chair. Anna could tell he was weighing her words carefully, but the hurt and mistrust in his eyes were evident. I suggest you both set aside the wounds of the past and think about Sophia's future. I know it's hard, but maybe the answer is finding a way to create a space where she can have both of you. Not as rivals, but as parents. Jake remained silent for a moment before sighing, as if the weight of the conversation had fully hit him. I never thought someone so young could be so wise, Anna. I'll try. In the weeks that followed, Anna continued mediating the interactions between Ellen and Jake. Slowly but surely, they began to find common ground, small steps that demonstrated their willingness to change for Sophia's sake. Although there were still wounds that would take time to heal, Anna felt a new balance beginning to emerge. As time passed, the atmosphere in the mansion began to shift. Jake and Ellen, still different in many ways, had found a way to coexist for Sophia's benefit. The little girl, who had once been so insecure, now seemed more joyful, running freely between her two parents and frequently seeking out Anna to share moments of affection. One afternoon, Jake asked Anna to meet him in his study. When she entered, she found him standing next to Ellen, an unusual sight that immediately made her apprehensive. Both wore serious expressions, though there was a gentleness in their eyes. Anna, we think it's time to discuss the future, Jake said, gesturing for her to sit. Anna's heart raced, but she stayed calm, waiting for him to continue. You've transformed my daughter's life, and for that, we'll never be able to thank you enough. But we also know we can't keep relying on you to fill every gap. It's time for you to pursue your own dreams. Ellen, who rarely spoke in formal situations, added. Sophia will miss you, and so will we. But we want to make sure you have the opportunities you deserve. Jake then handed Anna an envelope. Inside, she found a job contract, an offer for a position at one of the Williams family's companies, with a salary and benefits beyond anything she had ever imagined. The envelope also contained a letter confirming her acceptance into a university program, with all expenses fully covered. We don't just want to help you, Anna, Jake said with an encouraging smile. We want to invest in your future. Your kindness and intelligence are rare, and the world needs more people like you. Anna was speechless. What lay before her was an opportunity to completely transform her life. For years, she had struggled to survive, always putting others' needs above her own. Now, she felt the universe was finally giving back in a way she could have never anticipated. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she managed to smile. I don't know what to say. Thank you for believing in me. Ellen placed a hand on Anna's shoulder, her voice softer than ever. You believed in us when we didn't even believe in ourselves. It's the least we can do. For the first time in a long while, Anna felt an overwhelming sense of hope not just for Sophia and her family, but for her own future. A door had opened, and she was ready to walk through it. I don't know what to say, Anna murmured, her eyes glistening with tears. Ellen placed her hand over Anna's, a surprisingly warm gesture. Say you accept. And know that you'll always be a part of our family. That night, as she sat in her small room, Anna gazed out the window at the starry sky. She thought about all the hardships she had faced and how her life had changed since the day she found Sophia in that park. Accepting the offer meant stepping into the unknown, but it also meant honoring everything she had learned about courage, resilience, and love. With a soft smile, she made her decision. It was time to embark on a new journey. The day of Anna's departure arrived on a bright and sunny morning. The modest suitcase by the door was the only sign that something was about to change. Sophia seemed unaware of the movement around her, but Anna knew the little girl understood that this wasn't a goodbye, it was a see you later. Jake and Ellen stood together in the living room, watching Anna with expressions that mixed gratitude and sadness. The room was quiet, as though everyone was avoiding the word that would close this chapter of their lives. Are you sure you don't want us to drive you? Jake asked as Anna put on her coat. She gave him a gentle smile. You've already done more than I could ever ask for. Besides, I want to face this new phase on my own, just as I always have. Ellen stepped forward with Sophia at her side. The little girl was holding something small in her hands, clutching it like a precious treasure. She extended her arm, revealing the teddy bear she had carried through all her hardest moments. This is for you, Anna. So you can remember me, Sophia said, her eyes shining with emotion. Anna knelt to her level and took the bear delicately, feeling tears well up. I will never forget you, my little one. You've changed my life. They embraced tightly, holding on to the moment as if time itself had paused. Finally, with the innocent wisdom of a child, Sophia asked. You'll come back, won't you? Whenever you need me, I'll be here, Anna replied with conviction. As she walked toward the gate, Anna felt her heart heavy yet filled with a sense of certainty she had never known before. She wasn't leaving a family behind, she was carrying with her the lessons and bonds that had transformed her life. This wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something greater. On the way to her new city, sitting on the bus, Anna gazed out the window at the passing landscapes, reflecting on how far she had come. She knew her journey was only beginning, but for the first time in a long while, she felt ready to face any challenge. A few days later, Anna wrote a letter to Sophia, Jake, and Ellen, thanking them for believing in her and promising to keep in touch. Their reply came quickly, filled with Sophia's drawings and updates about how everyone was adjusting to their new routine. Years later, Anna, now graduated and working on a social project helping vulnerable children, received a surprise visit. Sophia, now a teenager, appeared at her door accompanied by Jake and Ellen, all of them smiling warmly. The hug they shared was proof that, despite the time and distance, the bonds forged during their journey remained unbreakable. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a comment to show your support, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for upcoming videos.